Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Wake up, get going. It is time for the Wrestling Inc. Daily. I am your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am to get tickled to talk the news of the past 24 hours. It's our very good friend from Second City, Chicago, EJ Cameron. EJ, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back. Happy New Year. Missed y'all.
Yeah, well, we've missed you, EJ. It's nice to have you back for a warm embrace.
Give me some of that. Give me some of that good warm embrace. Also, congratulations. I haven't seen you in person yet, but congratulations.
Thank you. Yep. EJ's gonna. I told he's probably gonna be one of my groomsmen. I asked you to be a groomsman, right?
I hope so. I've been working out so I can be.
Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty banger mix of groomsmen, I think.
Yeah.
More details about the wedding. We got some time, about a year, folks. So anyway, we got a lot to get to. We got a lot of news to get to. We have a huge interview, a big interview, a Go Big Show interview, as our own Scott Fishman got some time with Cody Rhodes to talk all about the Go Big Show and, of course, the mixed reactions he continues to get in AEW. EJ, Scott came to me and he said, do you have any questions you want me to ask Cody Rhodes about Go Big Show, right? And I was like, I have one question for him about Go Big Show, and he asks it, and it's going to be the leadoff story this afternoon. I've already scheduled it for shortly after this show airs. It'll be live, by the way, on YouTube here in about half an hour premiere. So my question for Cody is, what does the Big Show think of Go Big Show, right?
I want to know. The world needs to know.
How has nobody asked this to Cody yet, right? Or for that matter, I don't think Paul White has commented on this either. So
no.
This is the kind of journalism that I bring and encourage at the Wrestling Inc. Daily. And you get that answer here today, EJ.
And I thank you. The hard-hitting questions. That's what I need to know.
He went off in the woods. He got the question about all the heat he's getting on both sides. So anyway, Cody will be here later on in the show after we talk the news. We're also going to dive into the mailbag. We're going to look at who you think could possibly win the men's Rumble. Pretty open field this year. I do think one candidate seems to be leading the way, but we'll talk about that in the mailbag. And hey, congratulations to The Rock before we get to the news. I'm not a football guy. I don't really want to dive into it in our formal news block, but made a lot of waves today as he Instagrammed out that 1 year from today, the XFL training camps are going to begin. The scouts are out there. Hey, get your XFL swag back out. It's gabbing dust right now, EJ. Time to get the fever.
Get it back out.
Dude, well, I know you. You should have seen this guy. Decked out, hat, jacket, little flag.
What was the guy? What his name was, like, He Hate Me or something like that?
That was XFL 1.0. 2.0 has come and gone, and quickly. 3.0, Rock version. I have high hopes, EJ. I got
third time's the charm, right?
Hey, right? 100, yeah.
Rule of threes. It has to work now. It has to.
Cowbell. We're having a good time. XFL. Get to some news you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. Some pro wrestling news. WWE Raw was last night. The main event saw Bobby Lashley win a fatal four-way match against Rollins, Owens, and Big E to become the number one contender. He's going to face Lesnar at the Rumble. Paul Heyman is back with Lesnar. He cut a promo. The big line that grabbed people is like, you could beat the Rona, but karma is really bitchy. You know, whatever. That was okay. And then Lesnar, of course, is now announced for SmackDown this Friday night. We'll see what happens there. And he'll also be back on Raw. So with Roman gone, the WWE wagon here going into the Rumble and essentially Mania, 100% hooked to the Beast Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, it's the match we've all been waiting for. You've all heard me talk about it for so long, Lashley Lesnar. Ever since Lashley first showed up, there were comparisons, and now it's happening. I think it's a WrestleMania match, but I will take it at the Rumble. And Bobby Lashley, he's just been looking awesome. They haven't missed with him. He hasn't missed. He just has been looking dominant. It's going to be an awesome match.
Yeah, and Eddie Zamhari here, 99, saying Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar is a blockbuster match that is 16 years in the making. And it's amazing kind of what it took to get to this point, right? This was very much a break the glass situation. You're looking around at who you can put with Brock Lesnar last second, because I know Meltzer came out and he put this report out in the Observer on Observer Radio saying that WWE's WrestleMania plans they haven't changed at all. Like they've got it all figured out. I love the Observer. We run their stuff a lot. I just find that really hard to believe. Like, how do you remove Roman Reigns from the WrestleMania equation? Put the belt on Brock. It was obviously Big E was going to retain this thing. I don't buy that, man. So this was a break the glass situation, and for better or worse, Bobby Lashley's going to get a chance to have this big match against Brock Lesnar at a pay-per-view, and I hope Lesnar is willing to do business with Lashley, and we don't get some kind of squash match to just once again show Lesnar's dominance and heat him up for what may be at WrestleMania,
Yeah, they better not. They better. I don't even want to think about that, because I know that there's a history of that. We've seen it with Braun, Samoa Joe,
Kofi.
A lot of guys just get ran through, and you're
nearly murdered Randy Orton at SummerSlam with a forearm. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're getting it. But that's a classic WWE move. It's, we need to add somebody to this match. We're going to make them the champion now to show anything can happen. Right. So even before I knew that something was going to happen, I was like, if Seth's not in it, whoever's in it is going to win.
Right.
And they did this, and it went a whole different way. But once they said Lesnar was going to be in the match, I was like, oh, he's going to win.
There's a lot of ways to go at this thing, right? I mean, I don't want to say, of course, it's wrestling, anything can happen,
Yeah.
But does the Hurt Business get involved? Do they help Lashley get? Because if the plan is that they're going to continue on with the Lesnar Reigns plan, does Lesnar lose this match and he's all pissed off and he goes in the Rumble and murders 29 people to get his title back at WrestleMania? I don't hate that, right? I mean, there's just a lot of things that can happen, as this story continues to evolve. And again, Meltzer says everything's totally fine. The plans have not changed. I don't know, man. And I look over at SmackDown right now. It's an open book or an open field. I don't know what's going to happen this week on Friday.
Yeah. There's a lot of new variables out, because I know McIntyre, they said he has a bad neck now.
Right. Yeah. And that's got to be arguably your top baby face over on SmackDown,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So unless they, I don't know, dust off Shinsuke.
And it is, and I know it's all, I know it's, again, everything's very fluid with what happened with Roman, but it was a little jarring to just see Paul Heyman just back with Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'm going to get into it. I mean, Brock's like a big baby face and Paul's still this sniveling little advocate. I don't know. But it's just a little odd to me still to just see them just kind of thrown back together, and there's been some teases, but it wasn't enough. So.
Yeah. We needed the match for the switch to happen. They were teasing it enough, but it didn't happen. I have theories on what I think will happen. We'll talk about it later in the mailbag.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I see MCASP here, by the way, and the comment section's open. I forgot to mention at the top, but you all know. So MCASP here saying, Hausman, there is no Hurt Business. It's a shell of itself. I have a feeling that because you're going to want to counter the odds that are Brock Lesnar, I think we're going to see some Putty Patrol action from Shelton and Cedric here, getting tossed around by Brock as we try to keep distance between Lashley and Brock here in the coming weeks.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's an official Hurt Business. I agree. I think Shelton and Cedric think there is. They're going to help, and Lashley's still going to be like, ew, no. Also, have you noticed that he's been getting a lot of cheers? Lashley, a lot of Bobby cheers.
Yeah, well, dude. But here's the thing about Lashley that's been great is every time he's been kind of starting to get over, he knows how to get heat, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got this kind of look where he's kind of can, he'll lay out, I don't know, like a Dominic Mysterio and just mean mug, and you're like, never mind, you're a dick. I don't really like you. Roman has the ability to do it too, and it just comes with time. But I'm not worried about if Brock wants to be the baby here. I think Brock will be the baby, and I think Lashley will know how to get heat in this situation.
Oh yeah,
we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for the match.
So, also on Raw, WWE officials Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce announced a triple threat match for next week between Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and Doudrop. As noted, the winner of next week's match is going to challenge Lynch for the Raw Women's title at the Rumble. And, of course, last night, Liv Morgan debuted a remix of her theme song, which got some attention as well. Who do you go with here for the Rumble against Becky Lynch?
For the Rumble, my gut says Bianca. I would like to see Doudrop and Becky, but I think for the Rumble, if you're really trying to go for something big, I would go with Belair. Or you have some sort of screwy finish. Becky costs them all to lose, and you have a fatal four-way at the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it makes sense. You know, you started at SummerSlam. Now you're rolling through Survivor Series where you had to do Becky, Charlotte. And now you've got the other one, the Rumble. It's a chance to kind of pivot back to Bianca here. I'm not against it, but like, why am I wrong to believe all three of these? It's going to be a fatal four-way. All three of these women, like Becky's going to come in and just like hit somebody with a crowbar, and I don't know, like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like all of these women are, because Doudrop makes no sense because she's big heel at the moment, but like I feel like they're going to want her in this match, and I think they're all three going to be in the match. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling too, because I don't want to get rid of Liv Morgan yet. There's still something there.
Exactly.
And I think Doudrop is a good new variable that deserves that spot and attention. I really like Doudrop, but maybe this is her time to shine.
Yeah, well, and Samantha here saying Liv wins the Rumble, and then Bianca wins the Rumble and does Liv wins for the Rumble. Oh, goes, I guess. All right, maybe loses at the Rumble. Then Bianca wins the Rumble, and they run back Bianca versus Becky. So this would, you know, if you're going to go back to Liv Becky for one more pay-per-view, you got to have Liv win. I mean, 3 pay-per-views in a row, straight loss.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're, that would be really, really bad, I feel, for Liv and just the attention span of wrestling fans.
Yeah. This is my gut. Fatal four-way. This is how I would do it. Have it be a fatal four-way. Liv wins. Doudrop probably eats a pin. And then you have some sort of something with Bianca, Becky to say, hey, we weren't pinned.
Sure. Okay.
And go.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
That's me freestyling, y'all. That's nothing official.
I like it. I dig it. And as we're freestyling, I'm going to take a step back here real fast because Muhammad says Big E better join Bobby Lashley in the Hurt Business.
No.
But Booker T said something very similar on his podcast, but you're not a fan of this idea, EJ, no?
No. I have a. We'll talk in the mailbag of what I think they should do and what they will do.
Okay.
But I don't think Big E. I would rather almost in the Hurt Business.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to the mailbag. All right. We'll step away from the title picture for the minute at the moment. All right. We got a little mixed tag action here. It's official now. Miz and Maurice are going to take on Edge and Beth Phoenix at the Rumble. Maurice seems upset that Miz has accepted this challenge. I'm very excited about this. I love when Miz and Maurice get to do their Hollywood thing and make fun of people, and they're just great heels, and everyone loves Edge and Beth, and I'm sure that I mean, with Edge getting the win, I think Miz is going to pick up a victory here. Dark horse for the Rumble? I don't know, man. You know?
I'm very excited for this match as well. Maurice and Miz, just them together, their faces, everything they're doing, I love. I was expecting her to punch Beth in the face. I wanted to see her just like deck her.
Got to keep that distance right now, man.
That's true. That's true.
Make them pay for it, you know?
She's going to do it next week or something because they have a history. They fought for the Divas Championship.
They did.
A bunch back in the day. So there's something there too.
I think this will be a decent little program. I'm very excited about it.
I think it's going to be a fun one.
I think it'll be great. All right, lastly here, coming out of Raw before we get to some other news, WWE announced that we are going to begin to see Alexa Bliss's journey back to Raw starting next Monday in what looks like a series of vignettes that's going to be leading up to her returning into storylines. I have a feeling we're going to go back to some kind of mental asylum here where she gets reprogrammed and either is back to her normal self or some kind of variant of where she was pre-Fiend. What prediction do you have here, EJ?
Here's what I don't want. I don't want them to bring back that therapist dude to do.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yes.
You know.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna find it here. Okay.
Because they brought him back for Sasha and Bailey, and it didn't need to happen. It worked with Kanan, Daniel Bryan at the time. I hope it's not that. But I couldn't imagine what else they're gonna do besides like some sort of asylum or her seeking help somewhere, or
Sure.
maybe there's like a new a religious character, and she'll be born again. I think that'll be more fun than a therapist.
I think the important
Alexa Bliss finds God.
By the way, Bit Mulligan, Supersonic X. Bit is correct. It's Dr. Shelby. Supersonic
Yes.
Dr. Shelby. It's not Dr. Shelby. Dr. Shelby. I looked it up as well. So
Yes. Thank you, y'all. Yeah, I hope it is not that. Maybe there's an exorcism.
I could get him for an interview, right? I think I could get Dr. Shelby.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sure he's on castingnetworks.com or something. You know, you could.
I want to look into it. All right. Last WWE item here. Fightful reporting WWE had a lot of main roster plans that works for Hardy through this month, but word now is that they also had a plan for him in NXT. Now, the original plan for MSK's The Shaman character had Hardy in that role. Now, Riddle ended up being revealed as the Shaman. He's going to team with MSK to take on Imperium's Walter and tag champions Marcel Barthel and Fabian Aichner tonight at NXT New Year's Evil. After pulling Hardy from the road, WWE scrambled to have Riddle film content with MSK to make the reveal work. It was noted that there were numerous segments left on the cutting room floor featuring Hardy as the Shaman, and Hardy was originally scheduled for tonight's 6-man match. Wow, that is crazy, because this thing, I was like, oh, this makes complete sense. A big cloud of smoke, couple of stoners, Riddle the end game. I'm kind of surprised that wasn't the plan. I'm kind of surprised to learn this.
Right? Yeah, Riddle made so much sense when I saw this that it was meant for Hardy. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I guess so, but yeah, Riddle seems like the perfect fit for all of this. So I'm glad. I wouldn't mind a compilation. I know they would never do this, but of like cutting room floor vignettes that never, like, you know how they did like Evolution with Mark Jindrak, and they show us that, but just over the years, like things that almost happened.
I would just call it cutting room floor. I mean, that just sounds like WWE's cutting room floor. That just sounds like a viral series, doesn't it?
Yeah, you do some voiceovers. You have people that were there talking about what was happening and what happened. Oh, yeah.
I think Corey Graves introduces it because that's what he does. They're like, hey, Corey, we need you at 5 o'clock in the morning, Stanford, to just stare into a camera and set up whatever we give you.
He's like, all right, let me dust off the jacket.
The life I've chosen. So, all right, we're going to move into AEW territory. First of all, Tony Khan made the announcement earlier, just a couple hours ago, that Jake Atlas is officially signed with AEW. Tony made this announcement personally from his own account after a week of, some back and forth over the Big Swole thing. I think maybe a chance to get some goodwill, but also a good thing for Jake Atlas. How do you feel about the announcement?
Good for Jake Atlas. Always happy for somebody getting work. Tony Khan, I don't know, man. Take a break from Twitter.
Yeah, I think it's time, right?
I think when you have X amount of money in your life and your accounts, you should not just be so freely on Twitter.
The more I think about it, is like, remember when like Leo Rush really like went in on WWE after he left? Like if Vince had tweeted like the same thing, I feel like it would have been 5 alarm fires everywhere, right? Like everywhere. Man.
No. Vince shows up, he goes, happy birthday to this person.
So anyway, I'm sure I first of all, before we get into, because this next story kind of dovetails into what we're talking about. But yeah, Jake Atlas, what a great performer. I mean, obviously has earned this opportunity. I hope they really use him and push him, as the conversation about diversity has been really, obviously a centerpiece recently for AEW, especially in the last week. it's a chance to take somebody from the beginning, hopefully have a plan and build, right? So wishing nothing but the best for Jake Atlas right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe listen to the criticisms, because it's a lot. It's come from a lot of people instead of saying, no, look, we did this. No. Like, what are you doing? Get off of Twitter.
So Powerhouse Hobbs, he took to Twitter on Monday night, issued another statement in defense of Khan and Mega Parka, who's the AEW chief legal counsel and senior vice president and chief legal officer of the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars. Hobbs commented on how he sees firsthand how hard they're working to make pro wrestling more diverse and how he plans to use his voice to make sure AEW is diverse. Now, EJ, just for some context here, you work for Second City. I'd say about a year ago, there was a big diversity conversation that happened around Second City. How did management approach you, ask you, like in the wake of this kind of conversation, like, you know, reflecting on it kind of a year later, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to ask you about how you handled that situation and or were not asked to do anything by Second City.
No, they didn't ask me to do anything, release any statements, say anything. They reached out and, you know, talked to everybody. There was a town hall, and, you know, they talked about how things are going to be changing and XYZ, you know, one of those moments, but there wasn't any sort of like, hey, can you go out and say we're trying and we're doing it, please?
No, but in the way, but that's great. That's good to hear. And in the wake of that, I feel like, you know, and again, I'm not on the inside, but it does look like there have been some incremental changes for the better. Would you agree with that at Second City?
Yes, there's some incremental. Incremental is the key word there. You know, when you're in it, you can always feel like it can be way better, but it's getting there. It's better than it was before.
Okay, all right.
I can see where the changes are, but I still see how far and how many more changes there needs to be.
Okay. Well, hey, just to reflect, your management held a town hall and addressed these situations head on, right? And again, in the, you know, we got Hobbs out here right now making comments, and I don't want to knock the guy for saying his piece. And if he loves the company and thinks that he's got every right to be putting this stuff out there, more power to you, man. But at a time when, like, we're not getting official AEW statements or hearing about that town hall, for this to kind of be the spokes piece of this conversation, a little odd to me, you know? Just a little odd.
Yeah, it is. I wish he didn't. I wish he just kind of like stood back and let it be. If you feel that way, feel that way. But also when you have, you know, it affects a Black woman at that. And now you're coming in and speaking up like, well, I've never noticed anything, but I think they're doing a good job. It's like, dude, like, you're doing fine, sure. But you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll just say, you know, the two most important words I was taught in pro wrestling are layout. And that is when to know not to say anything or do something, right? So maybe a little truth in that. But anyway.
Everybody get off of Twitter. What are you doing? You know, when I'm on Twitter, when I'm in the bathroom, that's not when you should be tweeting anything serious like, well, I think that. Just get off of that.
Dude, it's so great because, like, when I went to California with Liz over holiday, right? And we just, like, literally rented a hotel room for, like, a week and a half down the street from her parents' house. And I turned off all my notifications for everything, deleted Twitter and Facebook from my phone. How I have been living with all of that stuff beeping and accessible to me, dude, it's crazy, man.
It's bliss.
Yeah.
I walk away from my phone in the middle of the day. I would just put it in another room and I walk away from it and I do anything else.
All right. We're going to end the news block here with something that has literally driven more traffic than I think anything else on the website for the past 24 hours. And just take that in for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Lee has a beard. It is a big gray beard. He tweeted out, back to work in the lab. I think I'm almost done with my Samuel L. Jackson meme look right after I take a crazy looking photo with it, but it's time to start considering what is next properly. So both debuting his beard, which maybe not long for this world, and teasing it's time to get back to work and do whatever's next for Keith Lee.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, they look like they're in like a solid gym too.
Yeah.
Okay, a little salt and pepper daddy. A little salt and pepper zaddy. I see you.
He looks good with it, man, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna beat your ass.
He does. He looks like somebody where it's like, I lost my frisbee on your lawn, but you know what? That's your frisbee now. So,
Yeah.
you know,
There's like a dog in the front yard with a chain and a stake, and that's just it, just holding it down. I can't wait to see this meme picture. I know exactly what Samuel L. Jackson picture he's talking about, and I hope he does it.
All right, EJ. I want to thank you for joining me at the top of the show to talk all the news of the day. It is, and by the way, thank you to Cody Rhodes for taking the time to talk to Scott. Great conversation. It's going to premiere in about 5 minutes over on the YouTube channel for Wrestling Inc., and it'll be, of course, included in the audio version, the podcast version of the Wrestling Inc. Daily. And if that's what you're listening to, you already heard the Cody stuff. All right, let's get to today's mailbag question. Today's mailbag question, like all of our mailbag questions, comes to us from @WinkDaily, WINC Daily over on Twitter. Today's poll question: which man do you think should win the Royal Rumble? Is it Omos, Big E, Braun Breaker, or somebody else? With over 300 votes here, 40.2 to Big E, 28.6 to Braun Breaker, 21.6 to somebody else, and 9.6 alone. That's it for Omos. And look, I just want to put this out here because I know you have a well thought out idea in response to this question. But Omos beat AJ Styles, former multi-time WWE champion, handedly in a few minutes on Monday Night Raw. Do not, for 1 second, underestimate the idea that Omos is going to win this Rumble. I want to put it out there. Don't for a second look past Omos as a possible winner in this Rumble. All right, EJ, go ahead. Your turn.
Here's why I'm gonna look. Here's why I'm gonna look against Omos. He's gonna get the classic giant treatment. Everybody's gonna jump him. He's gonna do the roar, throw everybody off of him, and it's gonna take like a bunch of big dudes to like just knock him over.
I don't know.
I mean, he did hand it to AJ Styles, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he did win, him versus Brock Lesnar would be an interesting matchup.
Yes, I know there's a lot of holes to poke into this argument, and I'm not even necessarily saying I think Omos is going to win. I'm just saying I watched Raw and I was like, well, I guess if you were going to have him win the Rumble, you'd probably want to at least have him have one meaningful win under his belt so that like a match with a champion would actually make sense. You could be like, no, this guy's beaten a world champion before, and he did it pretty freaking handedly. Like, this kind of sets that up, if you have to break the glass. Omos looks a lot better now than he did the day before.
Yeah, and we've had Great Khali and El Gigante. So, and he's way better than both of them.
And look, MCAS, Hausman, don't put that evil on me. Elizabeth Fox, Omos is so green, though. Why would they have him win the Rumble? I'm leaning more towards Priest, Riddle, or Big E. All right, so EJ, who do you got here for the win?
All right, this is what should happen. It's Big E, y'all. I'm going with Big E. It has to be Big E. What they're doing is they're correcting what they should have done a long time ago, which is, as I said, Lesnar, Lashley, Reigns, Big E was the matchup I wanted to see when he was a Money in the Bank winner. It should have been that. He should have gone to Reigns. You have the Usos and the New Day. They've been beefing for years. And then you finally take your two big tanks and send them at each other. That is the match. That's what they were teasing, because Big E's championship, he didn't get a proper championship. He won it because what? I feel like it was for ratings. They were like, oh, hey, go quick. Yeah. He barely won. Reigns beat him clean. We watched that together. We watched him just beat him clean, and we were like, that's it? It's nothing? They gotta correct that with Big E. I think he has to win the Rumble and challenge Reigns.
I think it's a blowaway for Big E at this point. Even like yesterday, I think I'd have maybe not been totally sold on it. But then like watching how Raw played out, and by the way, kudos to all four guys in that main event last night. That has to be one of the best Raw main events in years. Like, it had a real big time, fun, creative feel to it. And I thought they used the space really well. And I thought they just were very I just thought it was a banger main event. But yeah, and Big E ate the pin again, didn't he, at the end? Or am I mistaking myself last night when Lashley picked up the victory?
No. Owens.
Was it Owens? I was thinking it's Owens, or somebody could correct me.
Whoever got the spear last, and I think it was Owens.
All right. Well, Big E did take the win, or did take the pin for sure from Lesnar, right? Decisively at day one. Yeah, I mean, nowadays with the Rumble, except for rare occasions where they seem to have people like groomed, but it doesn't really feel like there's anybody groomed for this moment. It can quickly become who's the best underdog in the company that the fans are going to root for going in against a big opponent. I don't think there's anybody right now that checks all the boxes like Big E does. And you think about those final moments of the Rumble. It could be the last three members of the New Day. Do we get Kofi Mania again? Does Big E get to have one more shot, or does Xavier Woods get to step up? What a cool moment that would be to end the Rumble. Or do you get an Omos and Big E, right? That could kind of have some tension to it there. A lot of ways you can go with it. But I think Big E, I'm with you and a lot of other people. He makes the most sense.
It has to be, man. The dude was doing the work. He was making media appearances. He was everywhere. I would see him at boxing matches, sitting in the crowd with beautiful women, introing other boxers and fighters. He was doing what he was supposed to. They just kept booking him to look weak. So I don't know. Unless there's always Goldberg.
There is, you know what? He's got one more match. Maybe it's the Rumble, right? Look, we have a couple write-ins here. Samantha at Angel in Disguise, Samantha Weisbach, Damian Priest. They have been given a stronger push. You talk about mainstream, right? Last WrestleMania, you had him all aligned with Bad Bunny. Hasn't ever looked better. Could a run into Mania heat him up? Doesn't really feel like the right time. See, you're nodding, agreeing with me. We have from at Gaiva Aki. Not Johnny Knoxville. Another one where it's like, is he a dark horse, right? At a time where Nick Khan is just, I know, I see that glance, EJ, right? But at a time where Nick Khan is doing everything he can to court Hollywood and make WWE more mainstream and get people's attention, it doesn't seem like there's an heir apparent inherently right now. Big E would be great, but look, Johnny Knoxville can get thrown through the third and second rope, go hide under the ring, go sit at commentary. Somebody thinks they've won, and Johnny Knoxville comes in and just kicks him in the nuts over and over and over again, jackass style, and boots him and gets, Arquette times 10 heat, winning the Rumble. And, who doesn't want to see Johnny Knoxville get his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? I mean, look, I've seen Johnny Knoxville get kicked by a bull. I think he's going to pray for that again if he has to get into a ring with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar's going to throw him at the sun. I hope not, though. I don't think it'll be the heat that they think they want to get. They'll get attention.
They want that smoke.
So, get out of here.
All right.
Get out of here.
I'll end with a comment here from the chat room from Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. We're going to wrap it up. Let Big E win the Rumble to massively improve his stock. Even though he won Money in the Bank, I believe the cash-ins are better for heels than faces, and I agree with that. And I think you hit the nail on the head, EJ. It's time for a reset and to get back to what they meant to do, which is really establish Big E. Very tepid WWE first title run, but a meaningful win at the Rumble, finding his tenacity, finding that anger, finding that edge, meaningful program with whoever's up top at that moment. I'm with it, man. I think that's the right call to make right now.
Totally. And he's been having baller matches. They wouldn't let him, if he won more of them. If he just won a few more, being the champion, I don't know, a big, strong champion.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what we do here, leave us a review over on iTunes. All of your comments help to fuel us up Chartable. We really appreciate that. And if you're listening to us in audio form, you're like, hey, how do I watch the live recording and be a part of the comment section and everything? Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Wrestling Inc.'s YouTube, Twitch, all the social channels. You can tune in, join the comment section, be a part of the party. Also, come back tomorrow in the audio form and over on YouTube, 5:30 Eastern, we do all the interviews. My conversation with John Alba is going to come out. He's got a new podcast, The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, that is debuting on Friday. So we're going to talk about him working with Matt and his work with Conrad as well. And then, of course, come back for the Wrestling Podcast. That's tonight after WWE NXT New Year's Evil, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot tomorrow when I am joined by Alfred Kunawa, because Brian Wool is going to be out on assignment doing something else tomorrow. So Alfred will be joining me to talk NXT New Year's Evil tomorrow. And, of course, supportwrestlinginc.com. We're on all the socials. EJ, what do you want to put over here before we wrap up the show today?
Oh, goodness. Y'all, it's a new year. Started off being kind, being nice, as I always say. Move with intention. That's my resolution, to just move with intention and lead with kindness. So I hope everyone follows that and starts whatever they were planning. You got it.
Hey, my resolution every year is the same thing. Stress less, have more fun. And you know what? You can never go wrong if that is your resolution. Maybe I'll get that tattoo. You know what? Arm tattoos are out. Face tattoos, that's in right now. Maybe I'll get a cool face tattoo.
Dude, get it across the belly, Tupac style, man.
Oh, belly tats. I'm sure Liz is in the other room. She's like, we're going to have a wedding. No face tattoos.
Yeah, but see, on the belly, she's going to love it. Get it like Batista, but like spirals around your belly button.
All right. Hey, and
Stress
by the way,
less, have more fun.
Hi, Rama. Can you say hi, Rama? Hi, Rama.
Hi, Rama.
Rama. All right. I am at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.